Did you ever think about what makes someone want your attention, feel good about themselves, and want you more than ever? That's when you say, enough is enough. This is when you decide to move on and only think about yourself and your growth. When they think about what they've lost, it's like a lightning bolt of sorrow hits them. Then they begin to chase you and love you deeply, as if you were the only thing that counts. They didn't expect it, but they can't imagine their lives without you now. That's the power of taking a step back, getting your strength back, and letting them feel your loss fully. But here's the truth. This isn't just a strange turn of events. Yes, my brave fighters, that's what happens when you take back your power, when you step back and let them feel the huge hole you leave behind. When you focus your attention on yourself, you make them face the painful truth that you're not there. They have to face the scary truth that they took you for granted. And now they can't stand the thought of losing you. People often say, don't chase them. Let them know they need you, not the other way around. It gets worse after that. When you keep your attention on yourself, you become even more attractive and sought after. Someone once said, attract them with your silence and make them crave your attention. As they do this, they begin to understand what they're missing, which makes them feel even worse about their actions. They now want your attention and a relationship that they didn't value when they had it. Wait for this moment if you want to use this power to show them how much they need you. There are 9 facts that can't be argued with that will show you why they only want you when you don't want them. It's not enough to just change the balance. We need to take charge. Let us get started and show you the steps that will put you in charge of your own life. Before we start, here's a task that will set the tone for what's to come. Write, I deserve better, in a comment below if you're ready to become that person who easily occupies their thoughts. This is more than just a catchy phrase. It's a promise to get good at these stoic traits and become someone who people will remember. The things you say and do should be so strong that they can't help but think about you again and again. We want to know who is ready to adopt this way of thinking and start learning how to become an appealing thought in someone else's mind. Let's get started. 1. The power of absence. Let's start with the first thing on our list. The power of absence. That made you think, really? Someone might want me more just because I'm not there? And the answer is a strong yes. Let us break it down and look at why this idea, which seems so easy, is so powerful. They begin to value your presence when you continually text, call, or show up for them. It's like having Wi-Fi. You don't notice it until it's gone. Like that extra pizza slice in the fridge, they start to think that you will always be there because you are always there, until all of a sudden, it's not. After that, things get interesting. Think about this. You're always there for them when they need someone to talk to or a rock to lean on. They know you'll pick up the phone at 2 a.m. if they call. They know you'll do anything to hang out with them. But then you choose to take a step back. You pay attention to your own growth and life, and you stop being so approachable. All of a sudden, they no longer have that guaranteed attention, and they are left asking, what happened? This is where the power of not being there comes in. There is a hole in their life where you used to be, because you weren't there. Also, gaps don't like being empty. they need to be satisfied. They have to face the space in their lives that you used to take up, and they start to understand how much they miss having you there. Philosopher Epictetus was smart when he said, "A person can never learn what he thinks he already knows." When you're always there, they think they know everything about you, like how available you are and how much you're worth. But if you take a step back, they have to think again. They understand that they didn't show enough love for you. They want you even more after that. Let's turn this into a little funny. That feeling you get when the last episode of your favorite TV show ends and you can't wait to see what happens next. Their life is on edge because you're not there. They are left wondering, wait, did I miss the ending? What's going to happen next? The really interesting thing is that being away doesn't just make the heart grow fonder. It makes the mind run. They start to think about all the fun things you're having and new people you're meeting while you're not with them. They're no longer the star of your show all of a sudden. At that point, they want to be a part of the story again. But let's be clear, this isn't about being sneaky or playing games. You need to know how much you're worth. You need to know that you are important, and that value doesn't go down if someone doesn't see it right away. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best way to get back at someone who hurt you is to be unlike them." By taking a step back and focused on yourself, you're not only giving them what they need, but also giving yourself what you deserve. So people accept the power of not being there. It's a plan and a tool, but more than that, it shows how much you respect yourself. People will understand how important you are to them when you take a step back. What if they don't know it? That's their loss, not yours. Remember that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to just be less approachable. Keep growing and focusing on yourself. There's more to this trip than making them want you. It's about making you want yourself even more. Accept how valuable you are, and let your absence say louder than words. Because the right people will start to value you when you value yourself. People, before we talk about the second point, you may be wondering, why do they only see how valuable you are when you no longer want them? It's something that a lot of us have seen happen. Someone has taken advantage of you after you gave them your time and attention. After that, something changes. You decide that's enough. Stop trying to catch them and stop thinking about them. Instead, you focus on yourself. Right then, they have a shocking understanding of how valuable you are, and they start to want your attention. But why does this take place? Doesn't someone see how valuable you are until you no longer want them? The answer lies in how people's minds and emotions work when they act. People are more likely to take you for granted when you're always there for them and willing to help. They get used to having you around, being cared for, and getting your attention. It's in our nature to not value things that are easy to get. But everything changes when you decide to pull away, to get your energy back, and focus it on yourself. Because of this change in the situation, they have to face the fact that you are not there. All of a sudden, things that you used to take for granted become very clear. They start to understand how much they're missing a reliable presence, someone to lean on, and maybe even someone to love. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best way to get back at someone who hurt you is to be unlike them. When you take a step back and focus on yourself, you change the story, not just take back control. They'll feel empty when you're not there, and that empty space makes me feel a deep regret and desire. They start to understand that your worth wasn't based on how often you were there, but on what you brought to their lives that no one else could. They start to understand how valuable you really are at this point, and it hurts them a lot. Also, working on your growth makes you more attractive on its own. You feel better about yourself, your energy changes, and you start bringing more good things into your life. This makes them feel even worse about what they did, because they now see an even more attractive but farther away version of you. They basically know how valuable you are when you don't want them, because you've taken away their safety. They can now experience what life is like without you. And when they're not there, your worth becomes very clear. It's a strong warning that taking a step back is sometimes the best way to show someone they can't afford to lose you. It's not about playing games. It's about getting to know yourself and using that knowledge to regain your power and worth. I want to know what you think. What thoughts are going through your head at the moment? Leave them in the comments. I'll help you find your way through this. And now that you know what's going on, please give this video a thumbs up, like it, and click the subscribe button. Now let's talk about the next thing they might feel, which is even stronger. Don't leave yet. We're about to get to the heart of how your loss can really change their life. 2. The shift in dynamics. Now, let's talk about our second point, which is the change in relations. This one changes everything. It's all about how power changes hands when you abandon the chase. Making changes in the middle of a game is like that. Is it true that when you switch from defense to attack, they are the ones running to catch up? Let's paint a picture. Let's say you've been doing everything you can to keep the connection going. Texting first, making plans, etc. You always cheer for them like a one-person cheerleading team. What do you do when you say, "You know what? That's it"? You take your attention off of them and put it on yourself instead. It's like that movie scene where the underdog finally knows how valuable they are and quits trying to please everyone. Do you know what comes next? The mood changes. All of a sudden, you're not the one looking for approval. Yes, they are. It throws them off when they start to feel that change. This change is strong because it makes them look at you differently. Like the great Stoic thinker Seneca said, the mind has the power to be unbeatable. People will notice when you stop giving away your power and start taking it back. You're no longer doing what they want, which makes you very interesting. Think about it this way. If you're always ready and willing to help, they know they can count on you. But when you step back and aren't so expected, it makes things more interesting. They don't know if they still have your attention, and that insecurity can be very hard to resist. For fun, think back to a time when you really liked a TV show, but stopped watching because the plot got boring. Then your friend tells you that the most recent show had a crazy turn, and all of a sudden, you're hooked again. You start to watch a lot of episodes all at once to catch up, because the show went from being expected to surprising. That's exactly what happens when you change how a relationship works. Someone who is steady and easy to count on becomes someone who is a little more interesting and hard to pin down. Oh, and let's not forget how funny this is. It's like when your cat chooses to ignore you out of the blue, and now you're trying really hard to get its attention. You're sitting there giving Fluffy catnip and telling her, "Come on, I'm right here." Fluffy is off doing their own thing though, and now you feel left out. It makes them feel that way when you change the situation, like they're now trying to get you back. But remember, this isn't about tricking people. Being aware that interactions work both ways is important. You shouldn't be doing all the work. Let them take over and see if they're ready to do it. What if they do? Good. If not, you now have room in your life for someone who will genuinely like and appreciate you. So, accept the change in the way things work. It's a strong reminder that you deserve to be loved, not just by other people, but also by yourself. 3. The allure of independence. Let's look at the allure of independence, which is one of the most interesting things about human interactions. This idea changes everything, and it's necessary to comprehend why they want you now that you don't want them anymore. Picture this. You're the one who always tries to reach out, is always available, and always has time for them. It's something they're used to, maybe even too much. Then something changes. You choose to pay attention to your own progress, happiness, and goals. You should no longer wait for them to call. Stop making plans for them in your life. You start living for yourself. Here's the catch. Being independent is very appealing. There's a switch that is flipped in their minds. It hits them like a ton of bricks when they see you doing well on your own. You're no longer just the person who was always there for them. There's someone like you, building a life, growing, and shining without them. That's when things start to go against them, my friends. Marcus Aurelius said it this way: "He who lives in peace with himself lives in peace with everything else." When you live in harmony with yourself, you give off an air of calm and confidence that is hard to resist. People come back to you in times of doubt, when they feel like they're not the center of your world anymore. But what makes freedom work this way? Because being independent shows that you value yourself. You show the world that you're important on your own when you're independent. I don't need anyone else to finish me. And believe me, people do notice. Someone who is whole, independent, and living life on their own terms starts to stand out to them. This is the main reason why people want to be independent. Picture yourself at a party. There is someone there who is friendly and talks to everyone, but doesn't really stand out. Then there's someone who is sure of themselves, happy with how they look, and moves through the crowd with ease. This person isn't trying to get attention, but is just having fun. Who do you like more? Most likely the second one, right? That's what makes freedom so appealing. Becoming independent means you don't have to worry about what other people think of you. You're focused on your own goals, which is much more interesting. Also, let's be clear. Being independent doesn't mean being closed off or distant. Putting your goals and health first is what it's all about. It's a way to show that you value relationships, but don't count on them to make you happy. This small but strong change in how you think changes how other people see you. They start to want you, not because you're always available, but because you have a full, interesting life that they want to be a part of. This is where the magic takes place. When you think about being independent, good things and chances come into your life on their own. You have already given yourself approval, so you don't need anyone else to do it for you. At this point, they begin to miss you and long for the energy and confidence you give off. What do we learn from this? Take pride in your freedom. Take care of it. Not only will it make your life better, but it will also help other people see what they missed out on when they ignored you. Don't forget that you are your own best tool. As you keep getting better and better on your own, people who didn't see your worth before will begin to see it clearly. It might be too late for them by then. Living on your own means liking yourself enough to know that you don't need anyone else to tell you how valuable you are. So live your best life and watch as other people understand how much they want to be a part of it. Keep going, don't give up, and most of all, don't change who you are. Your freedom isn't just appealing, it's magnetic. 4. The effect of rarity. Now, let's talk about our fourth point, which is the rarity effect. This one changes everything, and it gets to the heart of why they only want you when you don't want them anymore. You see, it's in our nature to want things that are hard to get. This is similar to how that last pizza piece tastes 10 times better when you know it's almost gone. In relationships, the same rule holds. When you make yourself less approachable, people see you as more valuable because you are rare. Think about this. You're always there for them, ready to drop everything and help. It doesn't bother them anymore. For some reason, they start to believe that they can always count on your attention. But when you take a step back, something interesting happens. All of a sudden, they notice the empty place you leave. They begin to understand that your presence was not something they could take for granted. You went from being a normal part of their life to something rare and valuable in an instant. The way we treat everyday things is similar to how we treat rare items. You wouldn't think twice about losing a pen, since you can always get another one. However, losing a rare, one-of-a-kind thing would be painful, wouldn't it? When you make yourself uncommon, you go from being a common pen to a treasure that people can't stop thinking about. Though Seneca was a Stoic philosopher, he once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When you understand how important your time and attention are, you stop giving them away so easily. Trust me, when you take a step back and value your own time, other people will do the same. They start to see you not just as someone who is always there, but also as someone who asks to be there. To make things more fun, let's add some humor. This is like when you were a kid and didn't play with your toys until someone else did. That toy became the most interesting thing in the room all of a sudden. We all want what we think we might lose, even adults. That's exactly what happens when you put some space between them. Now, this doesn't mean you should be sneaky or play a mind game. It's about putting your full attention on yourself, your growth, and your happiness. People will notice when you're busy living your best life and not always around. When you're not there, they remember how valuable you are and start to long for your presence, which they used to take for granted. Imagine that you text all the time, answer the phone all the time, and always say yes to plans. Now, change the order. Imagine that you start to focus on the things that you love, hang out with other friends, and put money into your own growth. They begin to miss you when you're not the person who is always there for them. When you're not around as much, they start to wonder what you're doing and want to connect with you more than they did before. The rarity effect shows us that less is sometimes better. Other people will miss you, respect you, and understand what they stand to lose when you stop giving so much of yourself. It helps a lot in life, not just between people. As a little push, don't be afraid to take a step back and let other people know you're not there. Pay attention to yourself and let them understand how important you are to them. Remember that you are important and unique, and that people will miss you. People will start to treat you that way too, if you do. 5. The contrast of confidence. Let's get into our fifth proof, which is called the contrast of confidence. Now, things get really interesting. As you can see, confidence is one of those traits that can both attract and change people. There's something amazing that happens when you no longer want someone. You start to shine with more confidence. They can't help but notice. Trust me. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. You used to be interested in their life, maybe even a little insecure, and you were always looking for their support or attention. You then decide to focus on yourself and let go of the need for them to approve of you. Now you don't care as much about what they think. Instead, you care more about your own growth, happiness, and health. Instantaneously, you walk taller, smile bigger, and give off a confidence that wasn't there before. It's like a switch inside you flips. People are aware of this change. Indeed, it's blatantly clear. The person who didn't value you before now sees you in a very different way. There's no longer that person who was always there to get their attention. You're someone who does well on their own, instead. And the difference between who you were when you wanted them and who you are now that you don't changes how they see you in a big way. Philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it." That's important. You send a clear message. You don't need them to tell you how valuable you are by responding to their lack of interest with confidence and self-assurance. That is really very beautiful, I must say. To add some fun, picture yourself as a caterpillar that has just changed into a butterfly. The other butterflies are standing there, confused, and asking where the clumsy bug went. They realize all of a sudden that you're not just any butterfly. You have bright wings and are flying high and free out of their reach. Friends, confidence is like a bright light in a dark room. It gets people interested, and then they wonder how they missed it before. Your confidence grows as you stop wanting them and focus on your own journey. At the same time, their desire for you grows. They begin to understand that the person they once took for granted has changed into someone truly amazing, someone who doesn't need them to feel whole. The best part is that your confidence not only makes them want to be with you, it also gives you strength. You change the way you see yourself too. You understand that your value is not dependent on other people's thoughts or love, not because someone wants you, but because you're important. So let this be your motivation. Be proud of your self-confidence and let go of the need to be liked. Your confidence will change you and how other people see you. You're not just a backup plan for someone. You're the main event, the person they can't stop thinking about now that you're not trying to get their approval. Remember, people, confidence spreads. People will be pulled to it more the more you work on it. You'll realize that the only praise you ever really needed was your own. So keep getting better and brighter, and let your confidence be the thing that draws people to you and gives you the strength to live your best life. Sixth, feeling the pain of regret. Now, let's look at our sixth proof that really hits home: the pain of regret. Have you ever thought about how people only remember what they had after it's gone? The saying, "You don't know what you've got till it's gone," comes to mind, but with a serious twist. Have you ever been there for someone, helped them, and cared about them, but they didn't seem to appreciate it? Then one day you decide it's enough. When you step back and think about yourself, all of a sudden, bam! They understand what they've lost in a very cold and hard way. It's like they're strolling down memory lane, but they're not enjoying the walk because they're tripping over sadness. Hey people, regret is a strong feeling. The pain of knowing they had something great but let it slip away can sneak up on you and ask, "What have you done?" For them, it's not just missing you, it's a deep, gnawing pain. To quote Seneca, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." But here's the catch. For them, that end is the start of their sorrow. Let's be honest, regret can be very hard to learn from. Sometimes they have to remember all the times they didn't respect you and took you for granted. It seems like they keep seeing what they've lost over and over again. They want you even more after that. They really want a second chance, but they know that they might never get one. If you ever feel like someone doesn't value you, know this. Sometimes the best thing you can do is step back and let them feel the pain of regret. It's not mean. It's about showing them how valuable you really are. And who knows, that sorrow could be the spark that starts a new life where they finally see that you were always the one they needed. Stay strong and focused on your growth. Let the pain of their sorrow show you how valuable you are. You deserve it. 7. The mystery of uncertainty. Now, let's look at the seventh proof, which is the mystery of uncertainty. This is one of the sexiest reasons why they only want you when you don't want them. Imagine that you step back and stop sending those "how's your day going" texts. All of a sudden, they're confused and don't know what's going on. The unknown stresses them out to the max. It's like putting together a puzzle that is missing pieces. Hey, I know someone who loves a good story, especially one about someone they thought they knew everything about. As you can see, making a little space also makes people very curious. All of a sudden, they're thinking about you more, remembering things we talked about before, and are curious about what you're doing. A man should not fear death, but should fear never beginning to live well, said Marcus Aurelius. In this case, they start to fear losing the link they had with you. They want to know more, the less they know. The best part is that doubt is not only interesting, it's also magnetic. They are drawn to it like a moth to a flame. They start to miss you and the security they used to take for granted. So enjoy the surprise, everyone. Don't tell them what you are, and see how quickly they come back, eager to figure out what you are. Remember that the fact that someone can't see your worth doesn't make you less valuable. Let them know what they're missing as you keep shining and growing. 8th, the switch of roles. Now, let's look at the 8th proof, which is the switch of roles. This one really opens your eyes, and the way it ends is almost magical. Think about it. You used to be the one who was always there, always looking for approval. Then, something shifts. When you take a step back and focus on yourself, all of a sudden, boom, the jobs change. They are now the ones trying to get you back by chasing you. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best way to get back at someone who hurt you is to become unlike them by no longer seeking their approval. You've made it possible for yourself to have power. At this point, they start to think, wait, why aren't they chasing me anymore? Did I just lose something valuable? And that's when things change. You used to be the one who texted first and made plans. But now, you're not reaching out or being available, and they can tell the difference. They text you to try to get your attention and get something back that they didn't value before. The great thing about this turnaround is that it's not about games. It's about realizing how valuable you are. When you pay attention to yourself, you become the prize. And here's what will motivate you. By taking a step back, you're not only taking charge, you're also showing them a valuable lesson about how valuable you are. Don't stop shining or working on your growth. The roles will simply switch in your favor. You can do this. 9. The fear of the end. Now, let's look at the 9th proof, which is the fear of the end. When you finally make up your mind to move on, they go through a moment of complete panic. Just all of a sudden, you realize, wait, this might be the end. Trust me, the fear of losing you forever is the only thing that will make someone want you more than anything else. Picture this. You've stopped caring about other people and reaching out, and you've started living your best life. As they watch you do well, they can't help but think, what if they can't get you back? As the saying goes, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. At that moment, they start to worry. Did I just let the best thing slip through my fingers? Marcus Aurelius once said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Well, now their thoughts are colored with regret, fear, and a desperate desire to undo the finality of your departure. They'll do everything they can to get you back because they can't stand the thought of you being gone for good. Friends, here's something to keep you going. Keep focusing on you. Make them scared because it will tell them how valuable you are. It makes you better and more valuable when you choose to be yourself. People will not want to lose you. These 9 proofs show that when you take back your power, concentrate on yourself, and take a step back, it makes those around you face the fact that they are losing you. Making them want you isn't enough. You also need to know your own worth and let them see it, even if it's almost too late.